China is facing one of the most profound demographic shifts in modern history, a rapidly aging and shrinking population that could fundamentally alter its economic trajectory, social stability, and global standing. As we enter 2026, China's population hovers around 1.41 billion, down slightly from recent peaks, with births continuing to hit historically lows. The fertility rate has dipped to roughly 1.0 to 1.2 children per woman, far below the 2.1 replacement level needed for a stable population. This isn't just a statistical blip, it's the culmination of decades of policy choices, societal changes, and economic pressures that are now converging into a full-blown challenge. Let's start with the numbers. The United Nations projects China's population could fall to about 1.31 billion by 2050, with some estimates suggesting even steeper declines in the latter half of the century. The share of people over 60 is already over 20% and climbing fast, expected to approach 30 to 35% by mid-century. That means hundreds of millions more elderly citizens depending on a shrinking pool of workers for everything from pensions to healthcare. Back in the high-growth era, China benefited from a massive working-age population that powered factories, built cities, and drove exports. But that demographic dividend peaked years ago. Since around 2014, the working-age group has been contracting, and the dependency ratio, the number of non-workers per worker, is worsening rapidly. This aging isn't happening in a vacuum. It's a double-edged sword. Fewer young people means less innovation, slower consumer growth, and strained public finances. Pensions and healthcare costs are ballooning just as the taxpayer base shrinks. In the 1970s, there were dozens of workers supporting each retiree. By 2050, some projections put it closer to 2 or even 1. That's a massive shift in burden. How did we get here? The roots trace back to aggressive population control measures starting in the 1970s, including campaigns to delay marriage, space births, and limit family size. The infamous one-child policy, enforced from 1979 to 2015, accelerated the drop in fertility. It wasn't just encouragement, enforcement involved fines, forced procedures, and social pressure. While it helped curb overpopulation fears at the time, the long-term fallout is undeniable. Skewed gender ratios, a 4-to-1 family structure, one child supporting 2 parents and 4 grandparents, and ingrained cultural shifts toward smaller families. Even after relaxing restrictions, first to 2 children in 2015, then 3 in 2021, and fully removing limits, births haven't rebounded. Why? Raising kids in modern China is extraordinarily expensive. Housing in cities is sky high, education costs are intense, think cram schools and tutoring, and healthcare isn't cheap. Add long work hours, high youth unemployment in recent years, and delayed marriages, and many young couples simply opt out or delay. Women, in particular, face workplace discrimination if they have children, and the burden of childcare often falls disproportionately on them. Beijing recognizes the urgency and has flipped to full pro-natalist mode. Since 2021, policies have rolled out aggressively: extended maternity and paternity leave, often 158+ days in provinces, national childcare subsidies of about $500 per year for kids under 3, cash bonuses for second and third children, housing subsidies, tax breaks, and even free preschool in some areas. In 2025, measures intensified: full reimbursement for childbirth costs starting in 2026, waived kindergarten tuition nationwide, and controversially, ending tax exemptions on contraceptives and imposing a 13% VAT on them for the first time in decades. Local experiments include rewards for early marriages or extra points in school admissions for larger families. Yet, results are mixed at best. Births ticked up slightly in some dragon year cycles or post-pandemic, but overall trends remain downward. Incentives help on the margins, but they don't address root causes like economic insecurity, gender inequality, or the high opportunity cost of parenting in a competitive society. To cope with the aging workforce, China implemented its first retirement age hike in over 70 years, starting January 2025. It's gradual over 15 years. Men's age rises from 60 to 63, white-collar women's from 55 to 58, and blue-collar from 50 to 55. Voluntary delays are encouraged with better benefits. This keeps skilled workers productive longer, but it's unpopular. Many worry about job competition for youth or physical strain in manual roles. Productivity is China's great hope for offsetting demographic drag. The country dominates in automation. It installs more industrial robots than the rest of the world combined, with lights-out factories producing EVs, electronics, and more without human intervention. Drones manage infrastructure, AI optimizes logistics, and sectors like renewables and high-speed rail showcase cutting-edge efficiency. Economic growth held steady around 5% in 2025, beating many forecasts, fueled by exports and tech investments. But challenges loom. Productivity growth is slowing as the economy matures, catch-up gains from low-hanging fruit are fading. To sustain targets, it needs consistent 4 to 5% plus annual gains, but recent trends show deceleration. Real estate woes linger, consuming savings and confidence. The Haku system still hinders full rural to urban migration, trapping productivity in low-efficiency farming. Strict capital controls push household savings into property rather than stocks or abroad. Geopolitically, a smaller China reshapes ambitions. Military buildup accelerates while the window of demographic strength remains, more carriers, advanced weapons, global bases. But sustaining innovation and recruitment with fewer young people is tougher. Compared to Japan or South Korea, they aged after becoming rich, with robust safety nets. China risks getting old before getting rich, with per capita income still mid-tier when the crunch hits hardest. On the brighter side, China has advantages: enormous state capacity for directed investment, a young cohort of elite talent in STEM, university enrollment exploded recently, and ongoing urbanization potential. Reforming Haku, boosting services over manufacturing, and embracing AI could mitigate much of the pain. Immigration remains minimal due to policy and culture, but selective talent inflows help in tech. The road ahead is uncertain. If fertility stabilizes even slightly and productivity surges, China could navigate to a smaller but wealthier, more efficient society. But persistent low births mean inevitable contraction, fewer consumers, strained budgets, potential stagnation. This isn't doom. Many nations thrive with stable or declining populations through smarter growth. For China, though, the scale is unprecedented. What stands out is how quickly perceptions shifted, from overpopulation fears to urgency for more babies. Policies swung from restriction to encouragement, but cultural and economic inertia is hard to reverse. The next decade will test whether tech, reforms, and incentives can blunt the edges of this demographic wave. Do you think China can engineer a productivity boom to outrun its shrinking workforce? Or will this force a fundamental rethink of its growth model? Will pro-natalist pushes eventually work, or is low fertility here to stay globally? Share your take. We dive into these topics weekly. If this resonated, like and subscribe for more. See you next time.